Hello and welcome to part 7, the final part of my Might and Magic 2 speed video walkthrough for the Apple II here on YouTube. In this video, we will run through the Square Lake dungeon and defeat Sheltem and solve a cryptogram to win the game. A password at the end will require some knowledge you can only get from other quests, which we will work through in my exploration series. A note before starting: in order to win without using save states, I probably should have leveled my party up a bit more and bought them more spells so I had less chance of running into an unworkable fight. Even fleeing successfully leaves a long way back, especially for one of the later 12 fixed fights, and you can't cast Lloyd's Beacon, Etherealize, or Teleport. The actual mapping is trivial, but you have to cover all the squares in this dungeon to reach Sheltem. So this video may minimize the inconveniences you'll find in your own run-through, but I hope to explain when that is the case and how to avoid them. For a smoother path without save states, I'd recommend Quiznart fights until level 40, preferably level 50. 15 fights should get you from level 30 to 50, which isn't too bad, and you might find useful equipment on the way too. I also recommend as many skill potions as you can handle, a recharger if you have it, and many recharge spells to extend skill potions use. You should plan to use more of them the deeper you go through the 12 fights. Some will be very easy, but since the game chooses monsters at random, it's very likely one or two will be much tougher than the final fight with Sheltem. The finale after, however, is far from anticlimactic. Links to the relevant maps and guides should be in the description below. Okay, so I'm just going through the inventory, stuff I did while I was away. I gave the plus 24 Slumber Club to the Cleric, plus 30 Flash Sword for the Paladin, and plus 20 Large Club for the Sorcerer. I could have done a bit more, gained a few more levels, but I'm just going to go with what I have. There's going to be a lot. We're going to sell a lot of items to make space. A lot of these items are very good, but their alignments don't match up with what my players are, so they have to go. I don't really need the Witch's Broom or Teleport Orb at this point, because we can't teleport inside the final dungeon, and it's right next to Middlegate. So I could really, just fill the whole inventory with skill potions. And you don't need any special items for the final fight, so we really could give everything. And stuff like magic herbs won't be really useful. Another possibility is if we have a recharger, that can be used in place of skill potions. When the skill potion is down to 1 charge, we use it so that we have a good chance of getting more charges and being able to use it. We want to be able to scare monsters as much as possible. It's really random what the monsters are. Some fights are going to be really easy, some are tough, but in any case, you see what we're doing here. We got the skill potions, we got the blessing from the temple. And we're also going to check and make sure that we have training, because why not? We might as well pick up a few more levels and get the sewage. So we're just doing basic fight-based stuff. There are going to be 12 fights, and the map you're going to see is pretty simple. It's just pretty much going east 15 squares, then north a square, then east 15 squares, and so forth. And the first 12 times north, there's going to be combat. The last few, there's not. There's going to be actually a kind of funny small little joke at the end, and then there's going to be an optional combat, which we don't want to get into because we will lose rather badly. So, yeah, Walk on Water gets us to Square Cave, and you can see from the Wizard Eye map, yeah, it's pretty linear. And how many skill potions should we use and when? There are 12 fights, so if we have 24, that means 2 skill potions per fight, but I'm actually inclined to say don't use a skill potion on the first fight, because you can keep rolling for something good. If you don't get an easy fight, try again. Also, it doesn't seem as though, at least to me, that the farther north you go, the tougher the fights get. I think that's completely random. So despite what I'm doing here, using the skill potions, I maybe should have backed off a bit. Also, I'm going to be doing a lot of save state restoring and so forth. Just to get a general idea, I wound up, I think, getting 2 or 3 really, really tough fights where I could have used a few more levels. And it's perfectly reasonable to have 2 skill potions per fight, but the problem is you might want to flee sometimes, and you want to have those skill potions before you start, so it's tough to know exactly what to do, but I think by the end we want to use more skill potions. Maybe start with 1 for the first 4, 2 for the next 4, 3 for the last 4. Assuming that our front 4 people all have skill potions, because we don't need any other items. That's not perfect, and it's not very mathematically rigorous, and we might even want our first 5 people to have skill potions. Just trade the other stuff off to the NPCs if it's really valuable, or we might use it later. Because we probably are going to flee a bit against a really, really bad draw. It's tough to know what that is, but 80% of the time it will be straightforward because I think the enemies are completely random. So you could get something really weak, or you could get an enemy that's really strong. I really didn't think of the skill potion strategy until after I played through, and I thought, I don't want to run through again. The Ancient Dragon is really, really tough, and I think I let them take me down here. We can't use Moonray either, so Holly cures Pam. And one other big problem is I did not use spells, or I did not learn spells, and I should have, so I was very much restricted in what I could do. And yeah, I'm getting caught out by the Ancient Dragon here. And I got someone killed. And boy, that was pretty bad. I thought I could just beat 1 Ancient Dragon, but I was wrong. So I restored, and you can see the fight isn't too bad. Obviously well, not obviously, but if you remember, the Mad Peasants are actually pretty tricky because they frenzy. And if you have enough of them, they can wear you down. And yes, unfortunately, we're going to get these random fights sometimes. So we want to go through as quickly as possible, and we really don't want to flee unless the enemies are obviously impossible. So here I said, hey, what if I don't fight at all? So actually the strategy I mentioned before, 1 for the first 4, maybe we can go with 0 for the first 2 or something, and then 1s, and then 4 of 1, or 0 for the first 3, then 1 for the next 3, where 1 gets you 25 levels, 2 gets you 50, 3 gets you 75. You can adjust those numbers on your own, but skill potions really are the way to go because they can make enemies flee. And your knight will be very strong. And of course, I could have just gotten better levels and spells and weapons and armor beforehand just by continually rolling the dice against the Cuisinart, but I chose not to. This is another pretty good fight. We are currently, from what I see, at 8,8. So, yeah, I think I had 2 rerolls here out of 12. Actually, wait, 4 rerolls out of 12, so that's a 75% success rate, and in some cases, I just kind of got lazy. So, yeah, this looks very tough, but the Devil's Mouse is kind of a nasty opponent. And Death in a Box can cast death spells, but actually it's not such a tough enemy if you have high luck, because you can repel the spells. There's always that nervousness, though, because you see it cast disintegrate and not effective. And oh wait, this is the 9th fight. So, I think I could cast a heal here, but I chose not to. You saw 10 million experience per fight, so this was the big one, stasis, and for a fight like that, I maybe should have just saved it and gotten the fire shield. The court mages are kind of nasty. The fire devil will do damage, but they all run away. So yeah, that's an interesting idea though, because if the shield is not evil only, then it would be a big jump up for me, even from the gold shield, which we can always get another one of, or we can duplicate it once we make the other gold shields plus 25 or whatever. So yes, here's the next fight though. This is the 10th fight, and it's not a bad one. You can see there is huge variance in the fights and how tough they are. And I am at the 11th of 12 fights now, just totally burning skill potions. Or I should have totally burnt skill potions. I don't know what I'm saving them for. Dagger jaws, you can see in the Atlanteum arena you might get them. The stranglers are tricky, because they can kill you actually, but they are also going to run away. Well, not kill you, but they knocked Dwight unconscious despite all the hit points he has. Or paralyzed him. Wait, what? I think 5/5 is remove condition, and for whatever reason I didn't cast it. So I just rested. And that caused me to lose magic and forces protection, which isn't so bad. I mean, if you're at level 40 or above, then you can just cast forces protection. And I believe here is the 12th fight. Or rather, this is the 11th fight. Of 12, 1147 is the prep for the 12th fight, and I will re-roll it twice. I don't know if I used enough skill potions. There is one fight after this. It's Sheltem himself, and he's actually pretty easy compared to everything else. Okay, that is way too many magic serpents. I just get taken down. Yeah, this one was rough. So I'm going to use save states here. Again, this isn't something you could have done on the original Apple, and I would have just built my party up more. And here you get a super easy one, which shows you just how swingy it is. This was almost trivial. The Mist Rider is pretty tough. We didn't run into it. It can cast Dancing Sword, I think. But it's not massively brutal. And you can see that I wound up with a bunch of skill potions that I never used and probably should have, because I didn't really have a plan for that. But now you do if you want to try. Okay, 66 Devil Kings, do not attack them. This is a very bad idea. I sometimes wonder if I were level 255, if I could get them. That would be way in the future, though. And here you're just going forward, and it's showing you all these signs and saying, oh, yeah, you're about ready. No, you aren't. But you probably know if you've paid attention to the map. Yep, he is at the very, very, very end of the hall, and there are no blank spaces. Okay, Sheltem. From what I remember, Michael can one-hit him, so I just kind of had everybody else attack the other guys. And got a nice chunk of experience for relatively little work and low risk. The password is WAFE, WAIF, which we learned from the time travel quest we'll complete in the exploration videos. Fortunately, we aren't penalized here for skipping it. Next is this randomly generated cryptogram of the US Constitution, but Terra replaces United States. If you're on an emulator, slow down this time puzzle to actual speed. We can get P, L, and E from people, the third word in the first line. Remember to capitalize what P becomes. The R and A can be found in the capital word on the first line, which is Terra. The first word on the second line is from, so M becomes the last letter, and then establishes the last word on the second line, so we get BL from there. There's no penalty for guessing wrong. The 50 million experience is cool, but it's a poison chalice, as hitting level 50 made monsters tough enough to bog down my first stab at videos where I just explore crime. I've been enjoying making them in this, and I hope you've enjoyed following this series, and I'd be flattered if you stayed as I explore Kron at a slower pace and fill in the sort of fun gaps a speed walkthrough has to leave out. That's all there is to this video. Thanks for watching through, and if you've enjoyed this enough, giving a like or subscribing if you haven't already goes a long way in encouraging me to share more videos of fun games you may want to revisit or didn't realize you missed. See you next video.